כן, אני לא רוצה לשאול. I don't want to scream, I'm sorry, because then I will be husband. Okay. Good afternoon. I heard the lesson about the principle really of Pesach and what does it symbolize for us. But before I tell the symbolism, I want to give first of all a very strong principle in Judaism that we know we celebrate Minden Eid, we have the Jewish festival, Pesach and Rosh Hashanah, and we have also Pesach and Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot. And sometimes there is a feeling, that Megetzer. So we have to understand something which is very, very crucial in Judaism, that we speak always. Hagaon Nivila says that the word in Ivrit Chag. Chag means festival, but it comes from the word in Ivrit Chag. Chag is the translation, and I have to use the holy language, Milshon Lachug. Lachug is always to take a compass. If you don't understand my English, please let me know. To take a compass and to create a circle. In other words, today, in 2 weeks' time, we will reach the Pesach festival, and we will reach a certain spiritual level that comes in the world, but it's the same spiritual level when the first Pesach was celebrated over 3,000 years ago. It's not that, okay, we are telling the history. No, we are reliving this today in our days. In other words, if we will be prepared, and it's good, it's very good, thank you very much for coming, because preparation is necessary. Without preparation, just to park the car and to go up to a Seder Eshte, no junior, Jack, we need a preparation in order to gain in ourselves the spiritual level. If we won't gain the spiritual level that exists in the spiritual world, and also it comes down to us, but we have to work on this, the Pesach or a different holiday in Judaism will be like Megetzer, and this is not holidays in Judaism. Holidays in Judaism is something which we come back again and again, like a circle, we come back to the same spiritual level. Rosh Hashanah at the spiritual level of Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot at the spiritual level, and Pesach has different spiritual levels, which are very, very important to know, because without this, we won't be able to grasp the holiday, and the performance of mitzvot will be a bit nemseratek. We have to understand, because it has a lot of details. Be'ezrat Hashem also I will speak about the cleaning and about the chametz. Because if people look this outside, even if I would ask somebody that is not very religious, ask what does it mean, Pesach, they know. First of all, they start with Konya. Pesach, they understand that this is Konya, and then they understand also Nem Lehet Morja and Nem Lehet Kenya. They have the symbolism, but it's very important to know the essence of it, because otherwise it's going to be tele like a slavery. It's going to be absolutely like a slavery. And this we are not interested, because we are interested in Judaism, which is vivid, and this is relevant and accurate in our life. Nem Etzer Volt Kol Nem Jol, Nem Mosht Eben Ezaev. Be'ezrat Hashem, Mashiach will come. We should speak about Geulah. Geulah is redemption, and this is the holiday of redemption and the month of redemption. But Be'ezrat Hashem will celebrate this in Yerushalayim, and we'll celebrate real Pesach. And we will be able to grasp also the authenticity and the spiritual level that we have to come through. So what is very, very important for me to present, before I'm presenting the Pesach experience, I have here some quotation from non-Jewish historians to know that the whole Pesach story, the 10 plagues, and you probably heard about the 10 plagues, and maybe I'll go just very short about this, but the whole story of the 10 plagues really happened in the history of the world. It's not just a Jewish story of Etzer Volt, Holnem Volt. It happened, and I bring you a short quotation of non-Jewish sources. I will just give you a short introduction in our history. The Jews, there is a reason why they went into Egypt for Ketzaz Tiz Iyevek. After this, Moses got a commandment from Erkivalo that he has to pull out the Jews from Egypt, Miel, because the Jews descended to the lowest level of impurity. And they had to be right away pulled out from this lowest level of impurity. If they won't be able to be pulled very quickly, the Jewish nation won't be able to establish into a nation, because Pesach is really our birthday. So Moses got the order. Moses got the order to pull the Jews after 210 years that they were in slavery. If you let me, I would just want to explain to you what does it mean impurity in Judaism and purity. It has connection, of course, to Pesach, because Pesach, the first, what we have to do, the first symbolism, what we have to do in the Pesach Seder is Kadesh. Kadesh is from the same word as Kedusha, purity, or Tahara, purity, and the opposite is impurity, and this is basic in Judaism. We said that the Jews were in the lowest level of impurity. Their Nejven Kilen's level of impurity, the 50th level, is already you cannot be saved. And the opposite of 49 levels, we have 49 levels of purity. This is the opposite. It has also, of course, connection to Pesach. If you ask me what is the definition of purity or impurity, the definition of pure is a capsule between our lelek, our tesht, and our kivolo. You have to know something major in Judaism. So you ask me, who is in Judaism or kivolo? God is this one which is in your soul, in your soul, in your soul, in your soul, in your soul. It's not somebody that is external, because your soul is a chunk of kivolo, of God. When you came down to the world, the baby, when he comes down to the world, God blows into his body soul, and this soul is a chunk of God, is a part of God, accompanies him through his life, and by Saz Hus Evik, when the person is being buried, there is a separation, the body goes down to the grave, and the soul goes back to Kivalot, to the source. Our job in our life is to capture or to connect our soul, which is a part of God, our body, which is, this is the talk, the cover of our soul, and Kivalot. This is our job in life. Every step that a Jew does, he could capture to Kivolo, or he could do the opposite. He can disconnect to Kivolo. And I'll give you just a very short explanation. If, for example, let's take it that every person in the world needs to drink, and he's now thirsty and he wants to drink. I, as a Jew, can decide that before I drink, I check whether it's kosher or not kosher, and then I say the blessing. When I do those steps, I check that this is kosher, and I said the blessing. Blessing milshon mitzvah. Mitzvah is tzavta, together, we and Kivolo. I capture my body and my soul, and I sanctify my body, and I connect this to Kivolo. This is Judaism, you should know. And every step is either to come closer to God, or shainalon, to come further away from God. And we as human beings, indifferent from animals, we have the power of choice. We can choose either we want to capture from Kivolo, or we want to stay away from Kivolo. This is Judaism. This is the definition of Tahara, purity. Capture between us, in other words, my body, my soul, and Kivolo. Shainalon, or the opposite, impurity, this is the cut-off. No connection between me, God, and my body. So the Jews were in Egypt in the 49 levels of impurity, and Moses got the order from Kivolo to pull out the Jews after 210 years in slavery. And there was a process that it lasted around 1 year, that Moses came in front of the king Paro, and he gave an alert that lasted for 3 weeks. I'm warning you to pull out the Jews. If you're not pulling the Jews, I will have to send the plague. For example, the first plague was dam. Dam is blood. And he first of all, he decided that he's going to send, and he decided that he's not going to send. Shainalim, there was nothing what Moses could do, and Kivolo sent a plague. So there were 3 weeks of alert, and then 1 week of the plague itself. Of the plague itself. There were 10 plagues. Together it was a process of a year. Now, I'm not going to speak very major about the 10 plagues because this is a session to itself, but you have to remember that the 10 plagues is basically, it's basically the basic also of Judaism and the basic also of Pesach. Hashgacha pratit, private divine providence. And this is one of the symbolism of Pesach. We know that the world exists itself, and the proof that the world exists itself, this we know, and the fact that there is a world means also that there is a creator. But the fact that the creator has hashgacha pratit, private divine supervision on the individual Jew is via Pesach. Because 10 plagues, the 10 plagues, each plague by itself, in other words, 10 times, by the Jew it happened, the Jew did not have the plague of, for example, of blood. If there was somebody who was non-Jew, he had the plague of blood. In other words, it's the whole hashgacha pratit. Let's take, for example, blood. This was the first from the 10 commandments. If an Egyptian, he took from the Nile, he took water, he wanted to drink water. Instead of water, he got blood. Now, even if he wanted, let's take the Jew took from the Nile, he took viz, he could drink viz as much as he wanted. There were clever Egyptians who came to the Jews, and they wanted to buy in money, and they bought in money water. But when the Egyptian itself drank the water, for him it was blood. Like this, the 10 plagues, the Mashadik plague, frogs. Frogs, it was such a plague that there were frogs all over. Wherever you wanted, there were frogs. Frogs from the kitchen to the bathroom. You wanted to eat something, frogs. So you wanted to kill the frogs, you beat with a stick the frogs. You had 10,000 more. So by the Egyptians, it was the plague of frogs. By the Jews, none of the plague of frogs. Like this, each plague. If we take boil, I can show you the picture. I don't know how much I can go, but each plague. If this is blood, if this is fardea, frog, if this is lice is they say it was 5 meters of lice. It's something which is terrible. We see sometimes when we have children coming from school with lice in the hair, even if, just the eggs, to pull out one egg from a child's hair is a lot of work, and then you have to kill the eggs, and then to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself. Then you have arov, wild beast, and then dever. Dever is the killing of animals, that the animals are being, the animals. We had, I think it was 4 years ago, a disease in the United Kingdom, הפרה המשוגעת, the crazy cow. Yes, they're all, not just the cows, animals. And then you had boils, shchin. By the Jews it didn't happen. By the Egyptians it happened. Barad, hail, arbe. You have it also today in Africa, that they kill everything. Arbe is like a green grasshopper that he has again. And then you had the darkness. Now the darkness was also by the Jew. A Jew, he could come, but even non-Jew would come to the house of a Jew, he couldn't see. It was a complete darkness. The final, the utoshon la finale, after, and each one was a process of a month. In other words, 3 weeks of warning, 1 week of the plague itself. The utoshon was killing the first newborn, by the killing of the first newborn, also by the non-Jews they were not killed. By the Egyptians they were killed. Utano, they got the commandment to to come out of Mitzrayim, but they had to come out from Mitzrayim not just by themselves. They had first of all to take the idol, the god Elohim of Egypt. What was the Egyptians' god? The Egyptians' god was a cow, not a cow, a barai. This was the Egyptian god. I don't have to tell you, if you maybe you were already in India. If you go to India, the cow is something which is a secret. I mean, a normal human being cannot understand it. But by them, this was the cow, and they had to take the sheep. The sheep they had on purpose to tie to the bed for 4 days, and then utano they had to barbecue it. They had to barbecue it, and they were not and utano to eat from the meat itself, and they were not allowed to leave anything. They had on purpose to leave just the skeleton of the barai. Now, God wanted that the Jews will participate as well in this plague, so He told the Jews that on the door seal, on the mashkofim on the door seal, they will put the blood from the sacrifice of the keves. And God, the whole word of Pesach, one of the word Pesach means to skip. God skipped. If there was somebody that was Jewish, he was not killed. Firstborn, he was not killed. Somebody who was non-Jewish, he was killed. And it is this you have to remember. Pesach bא ללמד אותנו השגחה פרטית. One of the major principles of Pesach, besides redemption, she speak about redemption, etc., is to teach us that the Jews have השגחה פרטית. Later, in one of the in the script in Chumash Bamidbar, God is telling is saying Himself, "Atem edai le'um Hashem." You are my witnesses that I exist in the world and I supervise the hashgacha pratit. I won't go deep, but I can show. I won't go to say the big word, but even in the Holocaust, you could see the Jews were chastened by the Creator. You could see it very, very clearly. In other words, one of the purposes of Pesach is to show us private divine providence. We know that God is the Creator because those 10 plagues shows controls in all areas of the cosmos, plus private divine providence on the Jewish nation. By the Jew, it did not happen. By the non-Jew, it happened. Now, before I finish this part, I would like to read two quotations that they give also papyrus in the Netherlands museum in the Netherlands museum. That I start reading to you. It's very, very short. Just one of the most impressive findings is an Egyptian papyrus containing a lamentation. This is in Leiden, in Holland, by an Egyptian poet named Ifor that described the 10 plagues. Yoshua Etzion, in his book, The Lost Tanakh, described the papyrus in the following words. In the Egyptian collection of the Museum of Leiden, Holland, there is an early Egyptian papyrus that was translated into English by the Egyptologist Alan Gradiner and given the title Admonition of an Egyptian Sage. The papyrus describes a condition of desolation and destruction, and in Gardner's opinion, this is an account of the destruction that befell the Egyptians' early kingdom. It was Velikovsky, one of the historians, who first noticed that the striking similarity between this description and the biblical account of the plagues of Egypt. The ancient Hebrew text tells of blood in the land, of stench rising from the rivers, of building destroyed by fire, of darkness, and of great slaughter of the local population. Okay, now Uto Scholl, this is archaeology. The historian and philosopher Dornat summarized the events of the Bible and says, within its scope, the story of the Jews as it's unfolded in the Bible stands the vast of criticism and archaeology. Every year adds confirmation from moments, documents, and excavation. Now, this is a hieroglyph, shows, and they checked also the delta area. This is an historian, British one. William Foxall Albright, the noted historian, he's very noted, writes, according to our present knowledge of the topography of the Eastern Delta, there is no doubt that the lecture on the journey of those living Egypt, as described in the books of Exodus, is entirely correct. Okay, there are more, I want to keep you longer. Okay. Now, we have, so this is one of the symbolism of Pesach. Now, there was a process that the Jews had, so that the Jews were pulled very, very quickly, and while they were pulled very quickly after the 10th plague, after the firstborn, you know why the firstborn was the crucial point by King Pharaoh? I just want to tell you in brackets that there is sometimes a mistake, and people think that the Jews built the pyramids. If you go today to Cairo, not to Cairo, but more to Giza and Luxor, you see the pyramids. The pyramids were not built by the Jews. The Jews built Pitom and Ramses, two main cities. They did not build the pyramids that you see today. Okay, it's written in the Bible, Chumash Shmot, they built the cities Pitom and Ramses. Okay, now if you, the first, there was the Utushol from the 10th plague, this is the killing of the firstborn. Now Pharaoh himself was also a firstborn, and he was afraid that he's going to be killed, and that he couldn't, by the people, if something happened by the people, it happened by the people. If something happened in the palace, he had frogs, they will take care of him, but he knew that there is a strong chance that he will be killed, and since he knew that there is a strong chance he will be killed, he sent the Jews out, and he sent the Jews out, and when they send the Jews out, I think I don't have here the Bible, but they had very, very short time, and they say that they prepared food for the way, and God told them, whatever you prepared, whatever is ready, take with you. And they say that they prepared dough for Kenya, and the dough there wasn't any process of fermentation by the dough, so the dough stayed very low, no time for fermentation. And this is the Pascha that we are eating today. Now, I'll come back to the Pascha in a minute, I promise you. But they were walking, and they were walking first day. What we have today, what we celebrate Be'ezrat Hashem, Pentek Eshte in 2 weeks' time, this was the night that they came out from Egypt. Utano, they were walking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 7th day, there was the splitting of the Red Sea, Kriyat Yam Suf, the splitting of the Red Sea. Okay, I got this was, yes, this is part of this. Also, this was the Ashgacha Pratit, the pride and divine providence, was something which is very, very relevant and accurate. What happened in the splitting of the Red Sea, because for the Jews, it was as if it is dry land. It was a couple of hours until they crossed the Red Sea. For the Egyptians, they right away, they sunk in. There were turbulences, and they sunk in very, very quickly. Also, private divine providence. By the Jew, they could walk as on a dry land. By the non-Jew, drowning very, very quickly. Now, they were walking, and Kriyat Yam Suf, and Utano, they were walking together, Nejven, Kil, and Snap, until Vav Sivan, which is the Shavuot, they received the Torah. If you pay attention, I mentioned that the Jews were in the lowest level of impurity, Nejven, Kil, and Snap. They needed a certain process in Pesach. We should speak about this process. I will call it on purpose a sterilization process in this Hete days, a sterilization process. And slowly, 49 days, we're counting today to the Omer, in other words, towards receiving the Torah in Mount Sinai, and we purified ourselves. They were in the lowest level of impurity, they were pulled out, and they start building themselves a level, Nejven Killen's levels, to simply to negate the opposite. They were in the lowest level, and now they need to correct. I said purity and impurity, this is the opposite, yes? So another level of purity, and then they rise from their impurity. Another level. And if you heard about Sfirat Omer, we are counting to the Omer. It was a sacrifice during the time of the temple. But basically, our job is to go higher, another level of purity, which of course are connected to the 10 spheres and to the link between us and Or Kivalo. Now, this is the whole 49 impurity to the process of 49 purity in order to balance of the situation that they were in Egypt. And the night that they came out from Egypt and the dog did not have enough time to rise, God told them quickly, this is what we call Leila Seder. Leila Seder, you should know, and Be'ezrat Hashem will celebrate it in 10 weeks, and we have the same spiritual level as when the first Leila Seder was celebrated over 3,000 years ago. We can reach the levels of trust and belief, emunah in Or Kivalo, and capture over the Or Kivalo, which leads inevitable to trust, because it goes together. We trust God and also we believe in God. You should know that in Judaism, I cannot prove it to you, it's not blind belief. In other words, always it goes וידעת היום וישיבות האלה לבך. The first is logikush. They knew that Or Kivalo exists. Also today, we can prove that the Torah is the truth. Judaism is not a religious. Judaism is the truth. A person cannot live in the world without the truth, and the truth can be proven to your intellectual to check it. This is very major in Judaism. It's not belief of, close your eyes, I don't know what. V'yadata, intellectual knowledge. The Jews recognized that there is Or Kivalo after the 10 plagues. They knew very clearly. And then they were pulled out, and they were in such high level of emunah, of belief in Or Kivalo, and they had such strong, they say, giluim ruchanim מאוד chazakim. In other words, they had such strong, high spiritual elevation in Pesach that today we know we have Leila Seder, which is very special, and the Pascha it has been called Lechem HaEmunah, the canyon of belief. I'll speak why, the canyon of belief. But God, as if in Leila Seder, just in one night, he springs without, like he jumps up us, and he gives us everything in the present, all the levels of trust and belief that we would know and we would feel Or Kivalo very tangible and very realistic. God give us to us as a present in Pesach, and this is the only night during the year that we recite full Hallel Shalem, because we are in such spiritual level. Usually we don't say the Zoltar at night, and we never say a whole Hallel. Hallel is Zoltar that we are saying usually in the Rosh Chodesh. Yesterday we said it in the beginning of Hallel. We say always semi Hallel. We never say the whole Hallel. Now, Leila Seder, this is on such a high level that we get everything from Or Kivalo as a present, that God, we are even reciting the whole Hallel, because we are in such level. After this, Or Kivalo, the present that we got on Pesach, God is taking this away, and slowly, from Pesach until Shavuot, until the receiving of the Torah, we are working on this slowly, in order that we will achieve the level that we got as a present on Sukkot, on Pesach. Now, it's very important to know that unless we work, it won't be a part of ourselves. This is why sometimes you ask me why it's difficult. It's not difficult. Sometimes it's difficult, but this is good and healthy. difficulties is something maybe which is inconvenient, I agree with you, but this is to our benefit. This is good and healthy in order that we will acquire a level in Judaism that we need to acquire, and with this we build also our world to come. Because I can just tell you in brackets something, I teach a lot of the girls. I'm sorry that I'm always skipping, but I'll come back to them in a minute. Many times I teach the girls Tikva, and I tell them, you want to know really what is Judaism? It's very good that you come, you celebrate even Pesach, or you come to my lecture. For example, let's take the kosher. Yes, I'm speaking about kosher, and I explained to them that kosher doesn't have any connection to hygienic, it has connection just to my soul. This is if I want my soul to have capture of an orkivalo, I cannot block it. I have to open this. How will I open this? With, for example, kosher food. Okay, they listen to and we give them we give them lectures how they should keep kosher. The lectures are important, the lessons are important, but she did not build herself as a Jew unless she is going tomorrow morning. She will wake up in the morning and she will go to work or whatever, and then she will have the debate. Somebody will offer her lunch in the office and she will have the debate. Yesterday I understood that kosher is good for me. I took it on myself to keep kosher. And she started having a debate inside herself. I will keep kosher or not keep kosher. But she knows what she said. I'll keep kosher or not kosher. And according to her decision, she will build or shine on, she will destroy her Judaism. If she will decide, for example, that she's going to keep kosher, she's going to keep Shabbat. Over here, this is her test. Either she's going to build her Judaism or she's going to destroy her Judaism. And not just kosher and Shabbat. You think that religious people don't have their own levels? Of course we have levels. We have always something that still keeps us like behind, and this is we have a debate, and we have the free will of choice, and with this we will get a reward. Whether our intellectual part that agreed, our body will also, and this has a major connection also to Pesach. I will conclude with this, but this is always our debate, whether our intellectual part whether our body will agree with our intellectual part, and together they will start building their Judaism after they understood and it was clear to them. And also by Pesach, people know chametz. I will explain why it's important. Chametz, Pascha, it's expensive, I know. To clean is difficult, I know. Baruch Hashem, if somebody has kids, kids are transfer of chametz. Wherever you want, you have chametz. You have morsha all over the house. You are chasing after something which is, I know, unbeatable. And this is why it's good that there is a nuschat bitul. There is a nusach before, after we finish cleaning the house. There is also a document that we are saying that even if there is something that we didn't see, it will be stolen. It will be completely abolished. It won't, as if it doesn't exist. It's important, I understand, intellectual, etc., but I won't build my Judaism unless I'm taking this into my practical life. It's difficult, I know, but it's important because people grow just after training system, and then their spiritual muscles get stronger. And I'll explain to you. Let's take our test. Yes, if we have an ism in our test which is very, very weak, if we want to make it stronger, how can we make it stronger? We can make it stronger if we go to the physiotherapist and she will give us contra. As much as she will give us contra, our muscle will get stronger. The same thing happens also in our spiritual ism. The same. And the mitzvot, it's training in a way that our spiritual ism will become stronger and our kapshla to or kivalo will come tighter and smoother. Just by brackets, sometimes we have difficulties. A person could have difficulties with the husband, with the wife, he could have other difficulties. With kids, sometimes she wants a husband, she doesn't find a husband, sometimes she has difficulties with the kids. Whatever difficulties a person has, and this is normal because we are here in the world to overcome our difficulties, but you have to know that all the difficulties that we have are in private divine providence from our Kivali, directed to what you need, exactly to what you need, and directed to what you need, because because our big culture is Orkivalo. And he gives us very, very specific training system in order to yavitanu and to strengthen our metaphysical ism. This is very important to remember. Not to get, I can get angry about my son, I can curse, I don't know, somebody that made me angry, my husband or somebody else that made me angry, but if I know that everything is from Orkivalo, בהשגחה פרטית, in divine providence, it's not by coincidence that he's my husband, it's not by coincidence that this child is my child, it's by private divine providence that Orkivalo is enabling me, is giving me the opportunity in his goodness to yavitani my personal spiritual ism, capture to Orkivalo. This is why I get X, she gets Y, and etc. But you have to know that this is on purpose from Orkivalo. It's not by coincidence. Now let's come back to the Pascha. We said that the Jews came out in haste very quickly. Got all them, whatever managed to be baked very, very quickly. They come out from Egypt. And they had the mitzvah, first of all, they had the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, to sacrifice the whole sacrifice of the Pesach. I won't speak about this. They had also the mitzvah of circumcision for the men. This is the first mitzvah, because without this you cannot purify yourself. I want to tell you something very major about circumcision in Judaism. Circumcision in Judaism is a mitzvah aseh. It's a positive mitzvah. But since the punishment is karet, the power of circumcision, it includes inside itself also the positive mitzvot and also the negative mitzvot. הכוח של מצוות מילה זה כוח של מצוות עשה ולא תעשה ביחד. And this is why the Jews got it as first. Before they came to, after they came from Egypt, they got the mitzvah to circumcise themselves, because without circumcision, your lelek is not a recipient vessel to receive the spiritual power of the Parashat. Everything is blocked. And it is including inside themselves the positive and the negative mitzvot, the circumcision. Utanu, they got the mitzvah to sanctify the time, Rosh Chodesh. That the Jews, they themselves, they can announce, and then the Jewish court decide that today starts a new Holnap, according to the witness of the Jews. In other words, don't forget that they were in slavery. A mentality of a slave, that they don't have their own time. Whatever their master tells them, they have to do it. They have to do time, it's not their time, it's the time of the master. So it was very important that the first one of their mitzvah, also to pull them out, not just from physical slavery, also from metaphysical slavery. We are today, all of us, in a spiritual slavery. Not so much physical slavery, in a metaphysical slavery. I'll speak about this later. But basically, don't forget that the fact that we sanctify the time, Sombot, what is Sombot? Sombot, this is the spiritual. Everything in the physical world has 6 dimensions, like this cube has 6 dimensions, yes? The hetetic point, like Sombot, this is the metaphysical point in the physical world. Okay, this is why we keep Sombot. Sombot is the spiritual point that we capture to our spiritual entity and to Orkivalo, but this really would give the sustenance of the following week. The noits, like circumcision, this is on the Noit Tzadik Nap, this is already above nature. But the basic of Judaism is the het, Sombot is the hetetic week, Pesach, 7 days, Sukkot, 7 days. You had Shemitah, Minden, Het, Eve, there is sabbatical in the Torah, in the land of Israel, also 7/7, means to say the metaphysical point inside the world of physicality. Now, so this was also a mitzvah that they got written after they came out from Egypt. Now, this is very important to remind us, because if we don't sanctify means I'm taking the time and I'm separating this from a mundane time, and I'm dividing this to spirituality. Absolutely separation from the mundane and dividing dividing this to something which is spirituality, and this was decided according to the witness of the people. 2 people had to witness the first crescent of the moon. They presented their testimony in front of the Jewish court, and the Jewish court declared of a new Holma. This was very important after the slavery period. Now, what is Pascha? Why the Jews are so hysterical about Pascha? Why are we today hysterical to look for the moment? So, let's go first of all to the biological, to the way that the difference between Pascha and Kenya. What is the difference? There is one difference: fermentation. Now, in the Pascha, according to the Jewish law, we have, what are we taking? We are taking one from the 5 grains that exist in the world. It could be from chita, igel, seora. It could be from oats, shibolet, shual, chiffon, ray, and spelt, kusemet. It's good. You can take one of the 5 grains plus water, and you are kneading very, very quickly, and you have to put it very, very flat and to puncture a hole. In other words, that there won't be any beginning of fermentation, because if you didn't puncture with hole, you have oxygen. Oxygen can start already fermentation process, and then you put it in the oven. Everything together, what I described now, maximum peas and oil spells. This is how a kosher Pascha is being baked. And if this is more or less, then let it. Now, so this is first of all to know what is the difference. The bread, if we look at the bread, if I go tomorrow to the Uzlat, what will I see? A beautiful baguette. Long, hosu, and this is also, it has height. It has height. If I go and I look in, I buy kokoshchiga, what do I see? It's also, it's big, it has a height, and this is very, very tasty. What do we have against this tastiness in the Pesach? We have nothing against this, but it was symbolized for us, the Kenya, it has 2 major symbolism. The first symbolism, lushta, laziness. What did I say about the Pascha? About the Pascha, we have to take the dough and to knead it, without leaving this for 1 minute. The dough of the Kenya, lehet. We know if somebody is baking at home and she wants to have the bread of Shabbat, the chalot, she would leave it. She would leave it and she would cover it, and the fermentation it will raise. And then she will pull out the air, and then she will pull out the air, and then she will let it raise again. It could be even 4 or 5 hours, Shemikon. So this is the opposite, this is lazy. Pascha is not lazy. Utano, ga'ava, prideless. If we look at this jumle, if we look at this rogale, if we look at this shutamei, wow, it has so much of an effect. Wow, it's so much of an impression. Wow. But what happens if I take even if I take a needle, okay? But even if I don't take a needle, I take a mazleg, I take a fork, and I just pinch into this. Boom, all the air goes out. It is not already so much impression, so impressive as it was before. It is behind this, what we say in English, Luftgeschicht, nothing. You know, sometimes we have people in society that they come and start already impressing people. I'm a blue. You know what a car came? You see the ring, you see the watch. I'm Miss Universe, and you have to do whatever I tell you, most. And sometimes they can tease people, even could be arrogant for as much as they survive, 40, 50 years. But behind this, you know what behind this goes? Behind this glory, this pride, this glory, what goes behind this is, I'm sorry, simply an animalistic will of the person in order that he's going to have the control of other people, really like an animal. He wants to have the character he likes to control, he likes that people will be obedient many times. And I'm warning young girls usually. Sometimes, men come and they want to be macho and they want to be flirting, but sometimes, many times, sorry, don't hear me, men, they are hiding under themselves a lot of weakness, and they want to cover up for the weakness, and they start controlling. Many times, weak men are controlling via flirting or something. So differently, women think, oh, he loves me, Behind this goes, the man was weak, he needed to get some power. In order to get some power, he started manipulating you, and he started, gaming you, and then you will give him the power that he needs. But behind this man that showed so much, he's the boss of the world, and he started controlling you, hides somebody that is very weak and full of anxiety, and etc. The symbolism of Pascha is two symbolisms. First of all, not laziness and not prideness. Flat. Be what you need to be. Don't play an external layer that doesn't belong even to you. The minute I puncture, all the luft goes out. They say in the Gemara, kis rek mekashkesh. What is it? Sometimes, people come and they start, I have so much, you have to listen, who am I? It's like I'm taking a box, and inside the box I put 2 coins. And I'll come with the box and I'll start shaking the box. Wow, so much noise. But if I open the box, what does it have inside? 2 coins. If I will take the same box and I will fill it with coins, and I will start shaking the box, it won't have any sound. It is full, it doesn't have any sound. But this is full. And the other one, which was empty and had just 2 coins, it was very, very noisy and very, very noisy. Okay. So you have to remember that the whole symbolism of Pascha is the evil inclination of the human being, the Yetzer Hara of the person. This is the main issue of the Pesach, and this is why God, as if He puts us in an incubator for 7 days. We are going to be sterilized completely from Kenya. The Kenya is the opposite. Kenya is the symbolism of Yetzer Hara, which means laziness and which means prideness. The opposite from this is flat, in other words, the evil inclination. I'll explain very shortly what does it mean, because I have to finish soon. What does it mean, evil inclination? Evil inclination is important. This is also from Or Kivalo. This is not like in other religions, they say that the Satan is outside of God. No, in Judaism you have to know that the evil inclination of the Satan is the same source. It's also from Or Kivalo. It's not outside, it's also from Or Kivalo. And this is in order to enhance our spiritual ism. Like I was giving you the example that we have an ism, and all difficulties that God gives us, and sometimes it looks, and all evil inclination could be difficulties. Evil inclination basically is the contra to what the person understands and wants to do. And this is the word of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim in Greek means Meitzar. Meitzar means Sorosh. Okay? Each one has his own personal Sorosh. What is a personal Sorosh? A person, he knows in his head, he knows that he has to do X and Y. Even if I don't speak about Judaism, he knows that he has to stop smoking. He knows and he agrees that he has to start, he stops smoking and he has to start, for example, sport. And a woman that she decided from to Holnab, she is going to decide, I don't know, on a diet, or a man that is going to decide from tomorrow is coming to my husband's lesson. He's deciding this. He's studying the Torah. This is his own private Egypt, his own private Sorosh. And Utano von Paro. What is Paro? Paro is also the name of the king, but it's also in Ivrit, Oref. It's the same letters. Oref is this part, and this is the linking part between the mind and the tesht. And this is always this Paro. I have my own Paro. Each one has his own Paro, which is healthy. He's here, you're not Ivano. I know you are here. I have to know how to treat you. What is your duty? I have to know, but don't be afraid. He's here. You're not he's here. We have to know just he has a big major tafkid, big major job in our life. He's here, but we have to know that he he could eat us up. In other words, each one has his own orif. Orif, in other words, his own evil inclination. This is always, it is here. Here, what is this? This is the linking between the mind and the body. Always, I understand that I have from tomorrow to start a diet, from tomorrow to stop cigarettes, smoking, from tomorrow exercise, whatever, but always there is something that disturbs me. A woman, she decides that she's going on a diet, tomorrow she will see a temptation, she will see a big cake or whatever, she will give an excuse also, an excuse to her brain, and she will, in a way, convince her brain that this cake is not so fat, and maybe if she will eat just one cake, she won't get fat, etc., and etc. The evil inclination, even though that she decided she's going to start on a diet, evil inclination will be on top of her. So the main issue here of the Pascha is that each person has his mind and each person has his body, and we have always a sorosh. In other words, we have it's always narrow, and our narrow sorosh, we have to make sure that this narrow will be clear. In other words, that this evil inclination, whatever disturb us from connecting ourselves directly to Orkivalot, this will be as much as we can, it will be cleared. It is steps in life. It doesn't come abracadabra, it's steps in life. But the first part, as I told you in Pesach, God gives us a present. He gives us a very, very strong spiritual elevation, which will be in Pesach. If you will work yourself. First of all, it's very, very important to work also with cleaning, because cleaning is not just looking for the morsha. Morsha is a symbolism for the evil inclination. You have to understand what is the problem of the evil inclination. Evil inclination, the problem is that it doesn't let us do whatever we want to do. And we decided, a woman decided about her diet, or a woman decided about her cigarettes, it doesn't let her. And this is why God gives us as a present on Pesach Eshti. He gives us as a present. 5 minutes, I'm finishing. Okay. Okay. He gives us as a present a very strong spiritual elevation that each of you can feel it in his spiritual level, that he will know inside himself, that he would feel God so close to you, that it will be very, very realistic. And this is Lechem HaEmunah, and this is why we call them Pascha, the bread of belief, because first of all, you have to do the preparation. The preparation, besides looking for the morsha and understanding looking for the morsha is something which is physical, but we have also to look inside ourselves, the spiritual, what keeps us back from Judaism. Our own Magan Sorosh and our own Magan. It could be not just Judaism. It could be something which is in private life. People have many times Ross ideas about themselves. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. This didn't succeed. This doesn't succeed. You should know this is anti-Judaism. Anti-Judaism. Judaism knows that even if you fail today, tomorrow you will be successful. So all these melancholy thoughts, this is also comes from the evil inclination. You have to know that God gives on Pesach such a strong, each one, if he will work towards this, also with the cleaning and also with the kosher of the kitchen, and also with participating in the Seder Eshte, because alone to do this, it's very difficult. You won't be able to know. With all the mitzvot. You know, one of my children asked me, this is a very clever ashtu, maybe we should change this Haggadah. And instead of having maror, instead of having to eat like this and to drink like this, maybe I will bring a big TV, plasma TV, and I will show the film of Exodus. Why we can't do this? Why I have to start to the Haggadah, which the Jews spoke about it for the past 3,000 years. Today we are kept as artisan earth. Let's bring a plasma with the best actors, and we can start. No, you have to understand that inside himself, this is basic of Judaism. It's not by coincidence that we drink 4 cups of wine. It's not by coincidence that we have to do this and this process, because this and this process has the capability, and only this process has the capability to light in our soul this light of trust and belief in Or Kivalo, and we will be able to feel and to grasp the authenticity of the private divine providence, which is so strong on Pesach holiday, and we will be able also to have a private manishtana to Or Kivalo. Manishtana is you can be the child. You have to know you can be the child. You can be the child, and to ask from Or Kivalo one thing that disturbs you. It could be in your private life. It could be also in your Jewish life. The best is to do both. The person, she wants to get married. She wants, I don't know, to have a child. This is your private request from Or Kivalo. This is the night to ask for this request. This is the night to ask for this request. Also, this is the night also to ask from Or Kivalo that he's going to give you the power to overcome Jewish difficulties. So you have to prepare yourself for Pesach. You have to use those steps which exist in the Haggadah, because without this you won't be able to have in your soul and to grasp this levels of trust and belief in Or Kivalo. And Utano, after this, you have to keep the 7 days of Pesach, which is, I would say, like God keeps you in sterilization. And Mindanab, still we say the Hallel, but fail Hallel, I guess as we said it in the first night. Fail Hallel, fail Hallel, fail Hallel. But we started also counting for the Omer, because whatever we got as a present from Or Kivalo, if you will prepare, you will be prepared. We will meet Bezrat Hashem after Pesach. You told me, yes, I felt something else, and I felt God realistic in my life. I felt God realistic. Utano, this present, this ayana, God takes away from us, but we can build it ourselves. We can build it slowly in 49 days. That towards the Shavuot holiday, towards the receiving of the Torah, we would be able ourselves to get the same level as what we got in Pesach as a yandek from Or Kivalo. Okay? So, just to summarize this, and with this I'm really finishing. The whole business here of Pesach, this is the word Pesach, it means לפסוח in Ivrit. Pesach, it could be also a talking mouse. This is very important. Also, what is Haggadah? Haggadah is to speak. We're speaking with the mouse. Slaves in Egypt couldn't speak. They were slaves. The master they couldn't speak. They couldn't be the best of their time. So one of the mitzvot is also להגיד לספר ביציאת מצרים. Why? Because this capture to the Pesach, and the Pesach is first of all השגחה פרטית שהייתה ליהודית. Private divine providence on the Jew, that we have it still today, and God declares in the Bible, you are my witness in the world that there is private divine providence on the Jew. השגחה פרטית on Pesach. Mitzrayim comes from the word sorosh, and this is a private sorosh that a person has. A private paro, this is from the word oref, which means to say the obstacle between the mind that understands what he has to do and the body that start doing this. It could be Jewish wise. It could be also something that belongs to your private life. Stop smoking. Start coming to Shurei Torah. But always there is this power, this oref, which is like a cut-off between what you know should be done and you know that this is the truth and what you are doing itself. And via the Pascha, which is lechem emunah, which is the bread of emunah, and via the whole process of the cleansing, we have to know what is the private sorosh and what is the evil inclination, how we can go over the obstacle of the evil inclination. And via the fact that we, on Pesach, Be'ezrat Hashem, we will have all the Seder Eshter, we will be redeemed in our private life, and the whole nation will have redemption. Because this is the month of a lot of miracles, and the Jews were redeemed in the months of Niszán, in Pesach, and Be'ezrat Hashem, they will be redeemed also in Pesach. and you should be redeemed also in Pesach. And this is why we end up the Seder Eshtet also in Chagadia, which speaks about Messiah, the time of Messiah, and also the Shana Haba Yerushalayim, because we know that the redemption as a nation will be also in the months of Niszán, and our private redemption also will be, the beginning will be this Pesach, but always know that you will have something that you will keep on after the Pesach night utano. You will keep on to your private life. Something small that you take it, and with this you go over the obstacle of the Yetzer Hara, and you take it, and this is, you are going to acquire this on Pesach, and you are taking, and this will be a step towards receiving the Torah. And receiving the Torah, we are working on the same level as what we got from Orkivalo as a present in Pesach. So I wish you first of all Chag Sameach, and what is very, very important, please join in a seder, a communal seder, because otherwise you won't be able what to do. And remember that Judaism maybe looks on the outside as stupid symbolism, morsha, looking, chasing, Pascha. No, it belongs to our soul. And Orkivalo is this one which is in your soul, in your soul, in your soul, and in your soul. And but each one that exists in the world, by his 120, will be buried, and there will be a separation between his body and his lelik will go back to its source, to Orkivalo. And over there, as much as we worked here in the world to capture it, we will be captured to Orkivalo. Do you have any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. It had a line, but it speaks here about purity, impurity, Pesach. Pesach, you should know, there is a whole Masechet Pesachim in the Gemara. To finish this in 40-50 minutes lesson, it's impossible. I was trying a bit to show you that it doesn't have symbolism, that it has major issues that belongs to our soul, and what is the essence of the evil inclination of the Pascha, and what is the essence of Judaism, purity and